Welcome to Gospel Lessons. I'm Kevin Prince. Today we will be discussing Crucifixion Crosses. Joining me is Bruce Porter, a renowned scholar with degrees in ancient Near Eastern and Middle East studies, specializing in Semitic languages and religious history. This episode is sponsored by Go and Do Travel. Since we're talking about false traditions, another one that I learned about from you when I was on that trip is the height of crosses. We often see these paintings in the church depict Christ 20 feet in the air up with the two thieves on flanking him on either side. And you said that wasn't right or traditional with it. What did the crosses look like?
Well, the crosses were often, it's talked about in scripture that he was going to hang on a tree. You know, a tree can be a limb or a stump or something like that. The crossbeam can be put there. Often the Romans would carve into the stones hollows where they would drop a cross, or what we might call a cross of crucifixion, into that, wedge stones or wedge wood in it to keep it there. The feet would have generally not been more than a foot or two off the ground, the feet of the person, and they would be right on the road, because the Romans, they're not on a hill so far away that you couldn't tell who it was. They're not up on top of the hill. The Romans crucified right on the road, and the people's feet were a foot or 2 foot off the ground, because the Romans wanted people to see them. They wanted to see the suffering that they were going through, and they had to be able to read the inscription that was above the head of the person crucified. They had to be able to know what the infraction was, you know, what they had done to warrant the suffering that's going on. So it's right on the road, barely off the ground, and the writing would have been there. If you remember, the Jews said, "Don't write that he was king of the Jews, write that he said he was king of the Jews." And Pilate, one last stab at those Jewish leaders, says, "What I have written, I have written." It's going to remain the same, that he was the king of the Jews.
That's fascinating, Bruce. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks for joining us today. If you think somebody else would find this interesting, please share it. And thanks for watching.